Hi, and welcome to a sound clip from our Bible study discussions every Tuesday night from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. in Pakalani. Please enjoy.
Just a quick recap for anyone who didn't get a chance to listen to the recording that we posted. In my estimation, 95 to 99%, I actually want to say 100, but I can't be that sure. But I want to say 100% of the Bible is about relationships. It's either a vertical relationship or horizontal relationship or both. If we look at the 10 commandments, all those commandments do with relationships. Either your relationship with God, your relationship with yourself, or your relationship with people. So that says to me, God cares about relationships. You can't do this Christianity thing without relationships. And relationships are so many. Like there's different types. There's the employer-employee relationship. There's the friendship relationship. There's the marriage relationship. There's the friendship. Did I say friendship twice? Yeah. Yes. There's the parent relationship, right? All kinds of relationship, and scripture is applicable to all of them in some way or form, or scripture affects all of them in some way or form. And it's important, I felt, that we discuss this and see where we're at. So that was the opener when we spoke about it last time. Now what I want to talk about is the relationship you have with yourself. The next time, I'm going to speak about the relationship you have with friends, especially because of our context in Botswana. I don't know if you guys will agree, but I feel like there's a bit of a friendship crisis in our context. That's just my observation. I might be wrong. And then lastly, I'll talk about the Mjolo relationship.
The what?
The Mjolo.
What's that?
Oh, you don't?
The
If I knew, I would have known.
basically dating relationship.
Oh.
Hey.
Now you know.
Yeah. So that's the last one I'm going to talk about, because I don't want to pretend like it's not important. Okay, I don't want to pretend like it's not important. There's a lot of people that are struggling with a dating relationship. There's a lot of people that are struggling on the road to marriage. There's a lot of people. It's like you wake up single. There's this huge gap in your life where you are single according to the government, and then you are just married. There's a lot that happens on the way to get married, if marriage even happens in the first place, right? So I think it's good, especially because of the age demographic that we have here. Let's see, what does the Bible say about that, right? And in my estimation, in my small reading, it actually doesn't say much. And even that needs to be talked about, right? There's very, very few things there. I think it's just, don't awaken love before it's time. Next. You move on, right? But that's going to be for the last one. But today, like I said, so the next two times I share, I'll touch on those. But today we're going to talk about your relationship with yourself, right? So why is this warranting a meeting on its own? The relationship you have with yourself, as far as I am concerned, is the longest relationship, aside from the relationship that you have with Jesus or God, that exists in your life. You have yourself longer than you have your parents. You have yourself longer than you have your spouse. You've had yourself longer than you've had different friends. Your relationship with yourself, how you're relating with yourself, becomes really, really important on a biblical level. So the first scripture we're going to look at is 1 is Matthew 22, verse 39. Right, Matthew 22, verse 39. Thanks, buddy. Alrighty. Are we all there?
22 what?
39. But I think let me just actually read it from a little earlier than 39. Let me read from 34. It says, "But the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees. They gathered together. Then one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question, testing him and saying, 'Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?' Jesus said to him, 'You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the first and great commandment.'" And then 39, it says, "And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself." So this is God in the flesh. This is Jesus saying the second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. The assumption that's being made here is that you know how to love yourself. This is something that's jumping out at me in the scripture, that God is assuming that you can practice the second commandment because what? You know how to love yourself. But now the definition of love, especially in the Bible, you can go see it for yourself in 1 Corinthians 13, right? If you want to be very, very, very critical, if you want to be a student of that scripture, sometimes you can admit, or you can be honest enough to understand that you are not really good at loving yourself. Where it says love is patient or love is kind, are you patient with yourself? Are you kind to yourself? Maybe you're not, and maybe that's why you're not kind and patient to neighbors. It says that love rejoices in the truth. Maybe you lie to yourself. You're not ready to confront yourself with some truths. That this is how I am, or this is where I'm at. And yet the expectation is that kind of application of love can be extended to a neighbor. So without talking too much, what I wanted to just bring to the table in terms of relationships is let's not undermine or underestimate the importance of the relationship you have with yourself. How are you relating with yourself? The second commandment here, according to Jesus, the second greatest commandment here, according to Jesus, is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Let's start with yourself. Are you loving yourself well? Are you telling yourself the truth? Are you rejoicing in the truth yourself? Are you being patient and kind to yourself? 1 Corinthians 13, and there it says, love suffers long. Are you willing to suffer long yourself for the good of what the scripture or what the scriptures need you to suffer long for? Because if you can't do that yourself for yourself, how are you going to do that for a neighbor? Suffer long for a neighbor. An understanding of that is very important. So before I open it up for discussion, I just wanted to say that let's think deeply about this one, because I honestly feel like this one is really undermined. Because we can talk about the different type of relationships that exist. Like I said, the employee-employer relationship, the husband-wife relationship, boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, friend relationship, mother-child relationship, father-child relationship. We can talk about all those things. But all those relationships feature who? you, yourself. And when you, yourself, are not maturing in certain aspects, how can we now apply biblical concepts of these aspects to the employer-employee relationship, to the husband-wife relationship, to the boyfriend-girlfriend, the friend relationship, any relationship? You are the common denominator in every relationship you go to. The genesis of what's wrong with that relationship can be traced to you. The genesis of what's right in that relationship can be traced to God. So let's discuss. That's all I had for you today. What is it about the relationship with yourself? James 4 verse 10 says, humble yourself and the Lord will lift you up. Humble yourself. So you as yourself need to discuss and have a board meeting with yourself that, listen, we've been prideful, we need to be humble. That's you trying to relate with yourself to say, yay, before you go to anyone else. It's another example that this relationship with yourself is a very, very, very important. That's why a lot of people advise or do say, yeah, when you pray, seclude yourself. When you want to recover, when you want to refresh, move away. Be alone. You're taking it for granted that apart from being with God who's omnipresent, you are dealing with things with yourself. So your relationship with yourself is very important to God, is very important to this walk with Him. I think that's the most yourselves I've ever said in my life. Let us discuss. Questions, comments, queries. The floor is open.
Thank you for taking your time to listen in. Feel free to add your thoughts in the comment section or join us in person if and when you can. May God bless you.